Egypt and Turkey are getting closer to restoring full diplomatic relations for the first time in a decade. Here are both foreign ministers in a joint appearance in Cairo.
We are looking forward to the continued communication and coordination with the minister and also opening channels of communication between government bodies and to continue our work so that we can restore this very important relationship.
My brother, Sameh Shukri, mentioned that we have discussed the issue about what we can do about assigning the ambassadors again. We also discussed which steps we can take and when we can take them. I am sure we will raise our diplomatic relations to the highest level as soon as possible.
With us now are Yusuf Erim from TRT, Turkish Public Broadcasting, and Dr. Marwa Maziad from University of Maryland. Mr. Erim, let me start with you. What went wrong between Turkey and Egypt, and can they fix it now?
Well, when we look at the past decade, or at least beginning with the Arab Spring, there were many core issues, let's say, that Egypt and Turkey ended up on opposite sides. Let's not say the Arab Spring, but let's say with the beginning of the Egyptian coup that saw President Sisi come to power. Now, of course, the Egyptian coup was one of the major events in the Middle East in 2013, and it really pushed Turkey and Egypt to the other side. After the period when President Sisi came to power, we saw Turkey and Egypt be on different sides of the Arab Spring. Turkey continuing its support for the people, while Egypt taking a different road with Sisi moving forward, supporting the many of the non-democratic regimes in the region. But going forward, again, on different sides in Syria as well, different sides in Libya, different sides in the Eastern Mediterranean. So these are all very paramount issues and priorities in Turkish foreign policy. And with Egypt taking a position against Turkey, this greatly divided the relationship between Egypt and Turkey.
Marwa, who gains more out of this renewed honeymoon, if you will?
Oh, let's correct all of this history. I agree with your other guest that it's a decade-long rift. But, the whole idea was that Egypt looked at Turkey as a threat, an external threat, and that the Muslim Brotherhood, the transnational organization that was supposed to hold governments in Tunisia, in Egypt, in Syria, in Libya, would have been almost, the old setup of a sultan up there in Turkey and some provincial rulers in these provinces. And that's why Egypt, the state and the military, took a very defensive and militaristic response to this Arab uprisings in the region. So I would say that the military was reacting not to a domestic political, even though pro-Islamist kind of ideology, as if it's a very local matter, but it was a regional and international matter. And that's what caused the rift between two states, Turkey and Egypt, and that's why they really divided the entire region. Qatar sided with Turkey, UAE sided with Egypt, and both of them fought over whether Saudi Arabia would go this way or that. Eventually, Saudi Arabia joined the Egypt-UAE pact, and the rest is history. Now, Turkey and Erdogan in particular, now he's 22 years in power, he is now very threatened. He doesn't know where his future is hanging. He is now almost like the Ben Ali and Mubarak he was criticizing 20 years ago. And he knew that the Egypt and other Arab countries' pact outlasted his policies in the region. So now Egypt is demanding a number of things for him for Egypt and Turkey to normalize. That includes, if not outright handing the elements of the Muslim Brotherhood International to Egypt, at least recognizing now that was the idea, that was the rupture. The second thing is about Libya. the mercenary jihadists that were amassed in the Libyan western side would have to be not supported by Turkey anymore. And now that Turkey is very keen on joining the East Mediterranean Gas Forum, it has to sort out its own problems with Greece and Cyprus that are members.
So it's pretty complex, but I want to ask Mr. Erim, how much of this has to do with the coming elections in Turkey?
I think it has nothing to do with the coming elections, because this is something that Turkey has been working towards for the past 2 to 3 years. I think we're seeing a wave of reconciliation throughout the Middle East and North Africa, and Egypt and Turkey, and this ongoing rapprochement is part of that larger picture. We've seen Turkey already normalize its relations with the United Arab Emirates, with Saudi Arabia, with Israel, and it's only natural now that this culminates with Egypt. And my colleague talking about it being more individually or being more about Erdogan. It's not about Erdogan. It's about the Turkish state, and it's about the Turkish state's interests. And normalizing relations with Egypt is a top priority for Turkey. Turkey and Egypt have, for a very, very long time, historically had very strong relationships, and both are probably the most prominent two Muslim powers in the world. So Turkey always wants to have good relations with Egypt. If there aren't core issues dividing them, the natural setting of the tone or the relationship between Egypt and Turkey has historically been positive.
Well, Marwa, yeah.
Hence the competition. I mean, of course, they are the most populous two Muslim majority countries, but the policies, the pan-Islamist policy that was very expansionist over the past decade was resisted by Egypt and its allies or partners in the region. And that's history now. Anyway, moving forward, who benefits? Definitely Erdogan does. As I say, he doesn't know what's next for him. Now, actually, the region would not be too bothered by whatever happens domestically in Turkey. They wouldn't intervene with that, for example. So he's on his own in Turkey. Let's see how the Turkish people, elect what's their future. But regionally, he definitely was kept at bay. And now the relations can be retrieved between the state of Turkey and the state of Egypt, definitely.
All right, your conclusion, sir?
Well, looking forward, regardless of how Turkish elections end up, I do think that rapprochement will always be a top priority in the next 1 to 2 years between Turkey and Egypt for Ankara. But again, with the conditions that the Egyptian side wants, I didn't see any type of conditions placed with Turkey's rapprochement with the Emiratis or the Saudis or the Israelis. So I don't think that these conditions. I don't think that these conditions will be a huge part of the rapprochement. I think that both sides will be pragmatic because there's a lot of mutually beneficial interests.
All right, short conclusion, Marwa?
Yeah, I say the conditions are embedded. That's why it took Egypt that long. It's been 2 years, by the way, that Turkey was trying to normalize with Egypt. It started with UAE and Saudi Arabia and all of that. And Egypt was reticent a little bit. Show me what you got. And these are the things. He stopped some of his very expansionist ideological ideas for the region and backtracked. He's very practical, Erdogan. That's good. But I mean, it took that long. And that's why the Turkish foreign minister said it took us 9 years. We lost a lot of time. Let's catch up. Well, that's a given. So I would say, yeah, definitely the troops in Libya, the conditions with Syria, and also this East Med situation, Turkey has to solve for them. And then, sure, they can turn the page.
So bottom line, Mr. Erim, will they come together?
They will come together because, as I said, this rapprochement serves a lot of mutually beneficial interests, whether it be the Eastern Mediterranean, whether it be trying to broker a lasting peace in Libya, or also working together in Syria, working together on issues beyond the bilateral that affects a larger multilateral region, such as migration and general counterterrorism and security. So with this many mutually beneficial interests being served together, I see nothing standing in the way of rapprochement.
I thank you very much, both of you. Time will tell. Thank you.